Grand Finals of the WardiTV Summer Championship 2022. In the bottom right-hand corner, he comes from the lower bracket, hence he will start down one map in this best of 7. Our Red Terran from the Shopify Rebellion. He won against his opponent here in the group stages of the contest 3-2. Can he pull it off again? This is ByuN. In the top left, getting to start up 1-0. And of course, also getting first map pick, no vetoes as well. So generally this does feel pretty good on this map pool for a Zerg. I feel like it is in the blue from Kaisi Gaming. Reynor. So, first game, we're going to call it game 2 at some point probably because it starts 1-0 and stuff, right? That's always a question mark. That's always something that's happening. We'll see what happens. What's up, Tuko Salamanca BB for the 1-year resub on the Prime. Thank you so much for the 1 year. Hell yeah, we are apparently about to start a hype train, guys. The scam train's leaving the station. Even Twitch is hyped for this grand final. We've got 4,000 people in here. Thank you for joining us, and let's get freaking ready to go. I'm very excited. I looked at today and I was like, what finals do I want? I was like, well, we're already getting Raynor, from the selfish kind of tournament organizer viewer perspective, I guess. I was like, well, we're already getting, Max Packs Raynor winner bracket finals. I was like, well, I'd love to see a Clem or a ByuN versus Raynor at some point. So that was kind of what I was hoping for. And obviously, once Raynor won the winner bracket, that kind of meant that I was kind of cheering on the Terrans to come through the bottom side. And we are going to get ByuN Raynor here. So that's very exciting. CC first into 2 additional barracks. So CC first in the 2 racks. We've seen a lot of CC first 2-1-1 from Spirit earlier in this event, and just in general, we've seen this CC first become very popular. But Raynor has been one play to try quite frequently to punish that. Has not been afraid to open roaches, has not been afraid to be aggressive early in the game, and really try and put a stop to this Terran greed before it even gets off the ground. Chicken, thank you for the gifted sub to Sorensen D. Great. Kickstart a little hype train. As we really need a hype train when the game's going to be hype. No, of course not. Well, I mean, we'll take the hype train anyway. Hatchery going down, though. Let's see what happens as the tech lab's done so we can start stim nice and quick. Spirit is doing a variant of this where he got a pretty quick 3rd CC with this, and I thought that was really insane. That was a lot of fun to watch. We'll see if that's maybe something ByuN can sneak in here as well, get that 3rd CC down, would be very cool. You can see the Marine coming around the corner of the Natural at the moment, the little nibble on the Overlord, and a little bit more done as well. Again, a couple of Marines coming up, Command Center coming down into the main base from ByuN. All of this set up and rolling for the moment, so it is going to be that fast 3cc with this, and like I said, I feel like this can be crazy because it can still hit pretty nicely. It can still hit at a very good time because of the CC first aspect. But then you're going with such a fast 3cc that it doesn't feel like a 2-on-1, but it still hits hard. And, this build can be absolutely nightmarish to deal with for Zerg. And especially if you scout wrong as well. If you scout this 3rd and you don't realize the extra racks or whatever, right? It can also kind of hurt you too because then you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Very easy to have the wrong amount of units against something like this, and then the second medevac shows, or the second round of medevac show ups, like medevac 3/4, and then you just don't have the units you need to defend it at all. So, yeah, a lot that can go on here, a lot of possibility. Reynor is opening with a carapace upgrade though, so it feels like he's going to be kind of aware of what's going on. I say carapace upgrade, it was a single Evo chamber. That generally means carapace. Carapace is typically more effective than attack upgrades because you're typically taking more shots than attacks you're landing, because your melee units are fighting against range units, so carapace is the priority. It's a very common way to play against somebody who is going for like a marine heavy opener, so it does feel like Reynor is very much so in the know as to what this initial setup may just be. Definitely doesn't seem like he's going to be getting caught off guard or anything in these early stages. Factory swaps off the reactor, starport will land. A couple medevacs coming through, and that orbital command finishing up from ByuN on the main base. Few marines. We'll just go press forward, and the Lings and the Queens are going to go and put themselves on a set of rocks, just trying to open up this space. Don't want the Terran up, getting sieged up behind that or anything, right? That's just potentially problematic as time passes by here. So why would you want it to be potentially problematic when you have the time to get rid of it? So, yeah, makes sense. You units are sitting around not doing much. Make use of them. His first Marines are showing up kind of quick. Medevac's not here yet. We'll actually deny a creep tumor to start. Baneling Nest not ready. Don't feel like we need a Baneling Nest to deal with this, though. That shouldn't be a problem. As, uh-oh, now are we in some trouble? Marines will get to the Watchtower. The Medevacs, oh my god, their reinforcements are going to show up. Medevacs can start a heal, and this actually turns into a pretty good fight for ByuN. Reynor's misjudged this for sure. And now, ByuN's actually going to move forward. Steps back. Medevac's still alive. Full of healing potential. And a lot of the initial round of Lings getting cleaned out here potentially makes this very dangerous when the next wave of units shows up from ByuN. Could definitely be a little bit intriguing as one Ling goes for an SCV kill. Will not get it. And just as things calm down quickly, I'll just say thank you to Navy Dragon for the 7-month resub and back to support this awesome content. Hell yeah, thank you so much for the resub on the Prime. Drenocide on the 5-month resub on the just normal, not even a Prime. And a fresh new Prime from Interrogate, as well as Kerop coming in with the 200 bits. Thank you so much for the love, guys. As this grand final is out and running. Just going to be seeing our, hatchery dropping down to the top, so that's going to be a starting point. Just going to be seeing the Marines moving around up through the center here, heading over to the right-hand side. There's going to be a little bit of creep we can clean out, maybe. A few of these Lings starting to go down as well. Dropper Lord is also going to start up into play. And the extra Baneling speed, all the good stuff is going through, basically, guys. So, again, all of that ready to rumble. Going out some extra creep spread as well. Tired Universe with the 420 bits. Thank you so much. Trying to complete level 1 of the hype train. It's okay, guys. We don't need no hype train for these games. These games are the hype train. We should already be on level 5 hype train. By my standards. Rolling Thunder, thank you so much for the, oh my god, subs all over the place. I will shout out, guys, after the game, because I don't want to get too caught up and things are probably about to start happening. I will catch back up after the game. Thank you for the love, though. Really do appreciate it. As we got Marines about to fight here, and again, lifts are possible. Cool thing about this final as well, obviously, is this is Korea versus Korea. Reynor is in Korea, so no ping, no server advantages or anything. This is just equal for both. That's kind of a cool part. ByuN losing attention in the center, though, does lose some of his units. Obviously having to come across to try and deal with that Dropper Lord, which didn't even drop, but it did distract, and that allowed him to clean up elsewhere. You can see the kind of the benefit of this map in general, by the way, right now. Creep just all over the place. Obviously, no Hellions early doesn't help with that. The initial Marine drop can be pretty good against the creep spread, but of course, if you just trade and you don't actually go for creep, then it's not going to be good against creep spread, and that's kind of what happened. So we're kind of watching a situation where the creep is all over the place, and Reynor is going to be kind of dominating in that regard as these Marines come forward. Creep's going down, Queen's taking hits. And we are going to see those Marines having to pull back towards the tanks just a little bit here. Just again getting towards them as this attack continues. 8 racks, 3 bases, no falling back from ByuN. This is going to be full commitment, full send. Reynor actually is going to get some banelings into the main base now. Is that double infestation pit? Yeah, he started a second infestation pit. He wants to move to hive and lurkers, but second infestation pit is a mistake. And against an 8 racks, building a hydrogen, 2 infestation pits, these are all things which I feel like are very much so kind of like, yeah, and eventually would be great. But right now, deal with the 8 racks. Yeah, I feel like Reynor is obviously spending a lot of money that's not going to be useful in these fights. Let's see if he can have enough. He's down 40 army supply right here. As ByuN knocks down this initial set of rocks, opens up this space. We're going to start stemming up, getting a couple of creep tumors. Ling Bane coming in for the flank, coming in from the other side, but the tanks are going to start on that Ling Bane very quickly, and it's not really synced up with an attack from the top left-hand side, is it? So, ByuN in a great spot, and I mean, Reynor, he doesn't have the lava, he's floating money, he doesn't have the lava that he needs. Already a bit problematic as we do see more Lings, more Banes coming through. These Marines are going to be caught. They are going to get shut down, so at least some of the reinforcements are being kind of halted, but it feels like ByuN's push is just not stopping, and I mean, 2-2 is getting closer and closer to being done. Right now is an upgrade lead for Reynor on the Carapace. Let's see how this fight goes. There's going to be Banes from all angles. ByuN's going to be fully surrounded. The Banelings crash into everything, and ByuN's army is going to be wiped. That is one way to overcome a 40 army supply deficit. The Banelings came from too many directions. Split. Where the heck were you going to split to? There was only one place to go, and that was further into the middle of the surround, and Reynor cleans up everything on the first push. This isn't now done with, but it's definitely going to give Reynor the edge, as ByuN ByuN just isn't going to have anywhere near the momentum that he had before. 2-2 finishing, so now a little bit of an upgrade lead. Maybe now would be ByuN's one chance still to make something happen. Has a couple of tanks. The first Hydra's popping out, but they don't have upgrades. This probably is do or die right now from ByuN. I don't feel like this is going to get any better for him than this moment right now. If he hadn't lost all those units, he could probably still wait around a bit. But I mean, Vipers are on the way as well. Yeah, this has got to be from ByuN sooner rather than later here, because Reynor has taken an amazing fight. And that's kind of the power of this map. It's so easy for the Zerg to set up these surrounds. There's no real good place for the Terran to just come in from one direction. Maybe if he went maybe more up the right, then maybe Reynor couldn't have come, but then it's so hard to reinforce up the right side. Yeah, I mean, there's so much creep there as well. He kind of chose to go down the middle and clear the creep here, I suppose, so that was kind of ByuN's choice. He is 20 army supply ahead, guys, but he was 40 army supply ahead, so much better off for Reynor than it has been. And as the Marines do get through, though, they kill off a base. Reynor, like I say, Vipers are on the way through, but they're not going to save you against these Marines if you can't stop the Marine count. Reynor's losing a lot. The Baneling Nest at the frontier should be in some trouble as well. There are units around the back that are getting quite a few kills. I mean, we're just camping our bases right now, though, and here comes some Ling Bane from the right-hand side. It's just so many Marines. A couple Libs want to siege up as well, and they are getting rid of Balins, and ByuN might still be about to turn this around and make this happen. Like I said, it had to be sooner rather than later, and he did take that advice. He did take it sooner rather than later, didn't he? And Reynor was moments away from the Vipers, but I guess the Vipers were not really going to be super crazy effective. I mean, they're good for the Abducts right now still, but there wasn't really many tanks there. I feel like the Hydras weren't really necessary. Oh, that Blinding Cloud was nice. It made the Marines walk into the Banelings. There's still a drop in the main, by the way. All of these Marines over here, and that Baneling Nest, the new one, is going to get cancelled again. The drones are going to turn to fight. Are we going to cancel the Baneling Nest? Maybe not. He decided to fight drones. So the Baneling Nest will get online. Okay, okay. Baneling Nest gets to come on in. It's going to be seeing a few Marines still hitting the here and there. I mean, we're going to get back through. I mean, Reynor can actually morph in some Banelings. Marines are still fighting all over the place as ByuN chases over to the right-hand side. Drones are on the run. Hydras and Queens are on the run. Reinforcements now do come up the right side. This is the position I was talking about earlier. He is starting to work through these drones as well. Reynor's drone count is actually horrible. And that actually probably means that in the long run here, ByuN can probably just play a longer game if he needs to. Medevacs are like, hey, we need to kind of join up with the Marines. These Marines are such low HP, but they are just dealing too much damage. Reynor can't get through them. The Thor has to unload from the Medevac as the Medevac's kind of stopped a second or two. I think at this point, ByuN has killed enough workers that it's going to be okay. We're actually going to turn to fight. The Parasitic bombs on the Medevacs. Obviously, some auto-split in there as the damage comes in from all sides. And we are just going to be seeing the rest of this force now. ByuN has reinforcements coming across, and I think that's going to be enough to get the job done here on Cosmic Sapphire. Reynor's map pick from the entire map pool chose to start on this map. It's often vetoed by Terrans in best of fives. And ByuN looks like he's going to get the first game on it to tie this series 1-1. Wow, what a fantastic start of the series. Gets me excited for what's to come. As too many Marines, guys. GG from Reynor. ByuN is going to get the W. Reynor really held on. That big fight, those Banes from all sides gave him the chance. But it just wasn't enough. ByuN somehow powers through and again had maybe just that one opportunity, but boy did he take it. On the right-hand side, we are going to start this one off with the blue Terran player. It is going to be Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. And this introduction brought to you by Anto1122, dropping the prime sub in the chat. Oh my god, he's Protoss in the top left. It's Reynor. I did not notice at all. He is Protoss. He has been doing this in this event. We are allowing Reynor to race switch during the series if he wishes to do so. Absolutely fine. And he's going to play Protoss here for map number 3. It's because it's Moondance. So Reynor's been playing Protoss versus Terran on Moondance, and he has had some pretty reasonable success with it as well. It's not like this is just a crazy thing that never works or anything. In fact, when he played against Clem on Stargazers, he actually played Moondance. He actually played Protoss as well. So Moondance, Stargazers, he kind of wants to play one of these, not as Zerg, basically. So yeah, he's going to opt to play Protoss here. As this probe doesn't spot the racks off to the side, will come up and notice that at the very least, though, it's not over here. That's obviously good starting information, and Reynor can begin to prep against this. So yeah, don't doubt Reynor's Protoss, guys. It is very good. Even in non-PvZ matchups, he's pretty freaking good with it. He took a very serious game off of Clem the other day with it as well. Did get kind of Widowmine dropped to Doom by Spirit, however, so that's maybe something to think about here as we get into this game. As I feel like see people are saying, does ByuN know he switched? Obviously with the proxy, we can know that he does this in the TVZ build, but I think the other thing is as well, it's like, when you're playing Reynor nowadays, I think all the players just know to watch what the race is going to be, right? And just double check just to make sure, because they know he will play the other races sometimes. So yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be necessarily caught off guard or surprised by that or anything. Cracks coming down to the center, reactor coming through. We're going to get a nibble off. We do get that reactor going. Tech lab on the factory. Command center coming down. Getting all of this set and ready to rumble. And we do have the Reaper cleaning the probe out. The Rack's obviously just getting back is nice because then he can continue to produce regularly. And our Reaper will go across the map to try and figure out what's up. And it is a Stargate opening. Probably going to see some Phoenix here. I don't think Oracles are something that Reynor plays a lot when he plays Protoss versus Terran. I think he is a bit more of a Phoenix guy. And for the moment, that's going to be the plan. Reaper wants a probe. Isn't going to get it. The Adept movement is good, and that's an Adept Shade that will... Ooh. Yeah, ByuN got caught off guard there. He does get the probe, so you could say maybe this is okay. But yeah, the Reaper was like, huh, I'm going to get that probe, and then the other Adept showed up, so Reaper goes down. We don't get into the main base to have a little spot of what's going on, right? So, yeah, a little bit of information not actually gathered out of ByuN, and the Phoenix, for now, just going to hold back because ByuN doesn't know if it's a Twilight. He doesn't know if it's... He doesn't know anything. So, he's going to make a second Cyclone, though, which obviously is very good against the Stargate opener. This is no Starport, so we are just going to be seeing Marines in production. So, Cyclone Marine still pretty decent. It's a second Rax as well. It's going to be pretty quick stim. I actually kind of like it, right? It's a build that keeps you very safe against Stargate units early, and it's something that can then apply pressure quickly because of the stim timing. I think this actually... works out pretty well, build order choice-wise so far for ByuN. Adept will shade down to the bottom side, and again, we'll just say this one more time, because people in Twitch chat still surprised. Reynor's Protoss is good, guys. He beat Clem the other day, took a map of Clem with his Protoss, so on certain maps that are just not good for ZvT, such as Moondance, Stargazers, he has been playing Protoss against Terran in this tournament, and like I said, it's definitely not been a terrible choice for him. He's, I mean, you can't say that he took a game off Clem, right? I mean, that should do enough talking for you. And it wasn't just some cheesy game or anything, it was pretty legitimate macro long game, so, yeah. A couple SCVs go down. Cyclone's nearly grabbed a Phoenix. It was very close to dropping, but doesn't quite die in the end, so it's going to be the Phoenix just about getting to escape on out of there. And they're going to keep on looking for more. Obviously, the Cyclones want to look for more as well, though. And, ooh, did the Cyclones go too far forward here? Phoenix are going to go for a kill. We are going to lose a Phoenix, though. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Cyclone's nice to keep alive over time, but overall, I think getting rid of a Phoenix for a Cyclone is good for the Terran player, especially if you're now going to have, like, fast stim and stuff. Any less Phoenix you have is just going to be less you can use to defend back at home. And actually, a little bit worried right now for Reynor, because if ByuN goes across the map, he's got stim. Like, what does Reynor have? Like, a couple of Zealots that don't have charge in these Phoenix? Like, Reynor's defense is almost non-existent on the other side. And warping in Zealots just doesn't help you when there's slow Zealots. The third base here is going to get dropped on, and I mean, the Phoenix are coming back home, but I just don't see what there is to deny these Marines at the moment. I think ByuN is going to have Reynor in a real spot of bother. Zealots do not have charge, like I say. It's the Phoenix that are going to come in with some lifts, but... yeah, it's just not enough. We're going to actually unload on the high ground because then the Phoenix just have to try and fight this on their own. A couple probes going down. We move further into the main. We find a couple of Adepts here. There's a pylon that could maybe be targeted. Shut down 2 gates. We could just kill off more Phoenix. All of this is good to do as, you know, the Zealots are slow, so they take a very long time to get to you. It's not just the charge they're missing. It's that movement speed boost that they get as well. And it's a very sad day to be a Zealot in this game. They just do not get to be as good as Zealots are really meant to be. Probe's getting targeted now as ByuN realizes he probably doesn't get any other units. And it does look as though in this game, the call for Reynor to play Protoss is maybe not quite working out for him. And this is unfortunately not quite going to be as good as he wanted it to be, so looking good for ByuN, man. Wins the first game, TVZ. Looking to win this second game, TVP. Can he be in the lead in the series? Obviously a long way to go in a best of 7, but yeah, definitely a good start. Very good start. Sorry, just had to grab Ellie, who was trying to eat something off the floor. I don't know, just a bit of plastic or something, so apologies, guys, for a moment of silence. She just ran in and instantly grabbed something off the floor. I was like, what have you got? I was like, no, open your mouth now. Oh, silly puppy. Try and get me while I'm caught up in Reynor ByuN. Plus one attack coming in on the engineering bay. Phoenix comes through, looking to deny some SCVs. Like I said, just doing what you can right here. ByuN, good eco position, 3rd CC finishing shortly. Marine tank force against Phoenix Zealot. I mean, we got a Templar Archives coming online. Are we excited about that? Do we believe in the Templar Archives a little bit? Yeah, sure, I believe in it a little bit. It can definitely give you a chance, but it's the number of units currently out. 9 Zealots. The Phoenix count in single digits. Yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, guess single digits. Phoenix isn't crazy. I kind of was more thinking, like, you can count the number of Phoenix on one hand. That isn't good. The Zealots go forward, but the tanks will actually do some tanking. And ByuN takes it to a 2-1 lead in the grand final. As welcome to game number 4, as we have a 2-1 lead from ByuN. Of course, Reynor started up 1-0, which means that he's yet to actually win a game in the finals. Just gets that 1-0 start from the winner's bracket. Needs 3 to win it all. ByuN just needs 2. Let's see what we get here on Data C. We're back to playing TVZ. We are going to be seeing a CC first. This is a map which is fairly large, fairly safe for the CC first, but like I say, Reynor has been someone to every now and then get a little bit aggressive, get a little bit feisty, and absolutely try and bring the pressure, bring the fight, and just try and deny a CC first early with some roach play, so possibility. We get a CC first opening then, and it's going to be Rax Gas instead of Rax this time. So already a little bit of a difference on the CC first as well. Oh no, it's Rax Gas. Sorry, I guess that's the build. My apologies. I thought you actually went Rax Gas, so that's just me being a little bit blind to the build order. Apologies, so it is the double Rax again. I guess that makes sense with the speed at which the tech lab and the reactor and hence the stim comes online. Otherwise, I guess there would be a lot more marine building initially, and then the 2-1-1 aspect, the stim pack time would be way off, so yeah, I guess when you actually slow down and think about it for more than a second, makes sense to go Rax Gas Rax. We'll see second gas now taken as well from ByuN, so you'll have a lot of gas income here. Obviously, you got that factory online quickly. Did see earlier still a very fast 3rd base after this as well. With double gas, did he have double gas with that too? Now I'm really feel like I'm completely derping on the build orders. I just feel like double gas wouldn't give you the minerals to have that, but I actually think it's going to be okay. And he is pulled out of gas a little bit, so it's just that initial surge of gas for stim. Then I guess you get the CC down, then you get the factory. That's what we saw last time, I believe. That's what we're going to be seeing going on. Things get over. Marine picks off. Gonna be seeing a couple of Marines coming through. And just gonna get forward, gonna grab a Zergling. I'm just gonna see that stim pack coming up as well. Factory is on the way up. Now just gonna see. Yeah, no 3rd CC this time, so it is a bit different. There it is. Factory, 3rd CC, 330. Okay. I feel like I'm completely mind gaming myself with this build. I'm gonna stop talking about it. I feel like I'm getting myself more confused by the second. Let's talk about what Reynolds do. Sling speed, right? I mean, gas not really manned, taking the 3rd hatch. Obviously, with him against this for now is really not even much to do at first, because you don't even have to defend against a little bit early on, right? You know, early on in this, you can just sort of get set up. You can take yourself into a, you know, macro position. And as long as you're kind of ready to deal with the first wave of Marines, then you're kind of fine. And, you know, the carapace upgrade he heads into like he did last time is fine. This phase of the game isn't what went wrong for him last time either, right? Like, last time around, okay, maybe a little bit, because he tried to jump on those Marines before the medevacs were there, and maybe that was a bad call, because he got to that choke, actually turned it into a decent fight. But his setup wasn't bad. He just chased a little bit harder than he should have done, so there's not really any reason for Reynor to change what he's been doing so far. And so he will not, as Scripture gets killed. Trying to get some creep going out in the front, super far forward. It's a little bit of trickery over there from Reynor. I actually didn't see exactly how that went down, but that's yeah, like trying to get some creep spread going. Some kind of like cancel into creep tumor, I guess. Like I said, I didn't see exactly, but just trying to get creep further out and make this push down the bottom side, I imagine, a little bit tougher. He's going to cross Overlord. He's going to get nibbled at. He's going to get taken down. I see these Marines stimming through and just going to be having a couple of Queens taking some shots already. I mean, this is where the Lings can just come in, and this is going to be a much cleaner defense. Obviously not losing a chunk of Lings like we did last time. Yeah, the thing is with this is just the timing of the third CC gives ByuN so much economy. 51 workers already. 53 to 53. I mean, Raynor actually just doesn't have a worker lead, so I think that's the part that's really difficult to make work here, is just the amount of economy the Terran has while forcing you to build units, while forcing some pressure out. Definitely a factor. Marines run forward. Queen taking some damage. Some extra Lings going to come through there. And the Marines will just load up into the main base. Overlord is going to start... a couple of Overlords just going to start getting picked off. Marines going to get wrapped around. Lings will... That's around there. It's going to be seeing a few extra barracks on the way through. 1-1 still in the way. Just going to be seeing our entire game just continuing into this kind of build from ByuN, readying up this further pressure. Barracks 6, 7, and 8 are in the production tab. The 3 base all in is beginning. It served him well so far. Can Reynor adjust to deal with it properly? Can he adjust to be able to deal with this and get into a victory and tie up this series 2-2? That's obviously what he's really in need of right now. We'll see if he can get there. Medevacs gonna load onto the watchtower. 2-2 upgrade starting on the side of ByuN. Like I say, I mean, that's something which will eventually kick in. And will eventually give him a little bit of an upgrade edge against the one attack upgrade of his opponent. Reynor's trying to fight already. I mean, the tank shots there should do pretty decently. There is a little bit of drop potential out on the other side of the map too, so we'll be watching for that. These two medevac's going to start coming in, but Spore in position. Again, the one thing that I'm worried about here for ByuN is kind of similar to the last game. It's the creep spread. The creep is everywhere, and obviously you're going to have to carve a bit of a pathway through to wherever you want to fight to try and stop any fights happening on creep. You have the time to do that because obviously you're working towards 2-2 during this. The wall off here is Reynor checks out with the Ling. Libs already on the way. ByuN's a bit faster at the Libs this time too, maybe feeling like this might get stalled out. If it gets stalled out, then adding the Liberators on is really huge because that's a nice little addition that can really then kind of just force a couple of extra beneficial trades. I do like the adjustments from Raynor though, as holy crap, my Korean ping I feel like is going bonkers. But this time, no double infestation pit, that's nice, but also just no hydras, and I really feel like those hydras didn't add anything that pure Ling Bane wouldn't have done last time. Some fights all over as Reynor's going to go for a run by. SCVs have to evacuate this base, and we are going to see Banes are going to be able to crash in for a lot of stuff over here, and maybe even just get through for these depots. There's more Banes coming in. 22 SCVs already died. ByuN has decided to go fully on forwards for the counterattack, so straight down to the bottom, Marines and tanks coming through. Gonna have a bit more Ling Bane setting up now as well, as these Banes want to try and get through here. These Banes are being wasted on the siege tanks. Okay, this is a scary moment, because if ByuN can trade well enough against the next round of Banelings, there's still going to be a chance for him. He needs to do well against these Banes. I feel like splitting like this is probably not going to do it on creep. The Banelings are connecting, the Marine count's going down. Workers are still dying across the map, and ByuN, I believe, does not have what is needed here to close this game out, and that means that Reynor is looking to tie this up. 2-2s on the board. Yeah, sorry for a little bit of FPS lag, guys. It's not something that's affecting the players they would have paused. Sometimes that connection to the Korean server just goes a bit wonky nowadays, so apologies for that. Sometimes there's just not much we can do about it. As I think this game is nigh on done. Don't really feel like, well, Libs kind of flying into the Queens doesn't help. Maybe a couple good tank shots, take down enough Banes. The Marines can stand and fight. 2-2 against 1-2, maybe, possibly. Feels like a lot of Terran copium right now, but at the moment it's kind of working. Yeah, for a couple moments it was kind of working. These Libs just, again, can't really get sieged up anywhere too meaningful is the problem. And I'm going to try and go over this corner. Redvax is still taking hits. Unload, reload. Again, just trying to utilize the Liberators for some kills to try and make anything happen. Reynor just has so many units streaming in, and yeah, the Libs are a minor issue, but it's going to be GG's. Reynor is going to tie at 2-2s on the board, like I say, and we have got a series of streamer problems, I guess. All right, top left-hand side, closing in as Protoss. It is going to be our red Protoss player. It is Reynor, as he doesn't want to play Zerg. So he actually DM'd me, and he said, yo, do I play Protoss, or do I lose with Zerg in a 40-minute game? I was like, you know what? They both sound fun. Lol. And he opted to go for the pros. Like I say, he's been doing this throughout the event. We'll see if he can make it work. He beat Clem on this map the other day in the round of 8, as in the top right. Our blue Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion is ByuN. Let's see how his TVP fares on Stargazers. Stargazers is, I mean, the map that Protoss typically pick first in a best of 5, right? So there's definitely some logic to it race-wise, as long as Reynor's confident enough. That is, Protoss is good enough to fight ByuN. We will see if that's going to be the case. Like I say, he has games when he gets set up and he gets going. I feel like Reynor's very scary with Protoss, but in this matchup, but there is just that early game which I think is a little bit tough for him at times, as this probe comes through. SCV, I'm going to go and chase that probe around. Checking up, Reaper coming through, Nexus, Cybercore, all coming in. Just going to be getting this set to go right now as our command center starts up on the in-base probe of Reynor. We'll be checking the upper right, moving over to the left-hand side. Get this set and see. I mean, waiting for the initial tech choice, I guess, from Reynor should be probably one of the more interesting things to happen here early. So kind of waiting for that a little bit. As we got our Reaper getting the probe kill. And tech choice should come down in a moment. We do start warp gate first. It's the 3 CC from ByuN. So 1 gas, triple CC. Very eco-focused from ByuN over there. All the economies. It's going to be a Twilight Council. So that's Reynor switching it up from what he played earlier in this series with the Stargate and the Phoenix. Well, Twilight Council with some good amount of aggression. Could be very good against the 3 CC, so that's definitely a possibility. See what goes down as we have ourselves the Reaper continue to move through here. Going to come across and just going to go after this probe. Probe is going to die. Nice catch on the natural. Always good to get a probe, right? Always feels good, especially to be able to grab a probe kill. Gonna see 2 extra racks set up in the main base. So 3 racks getting set up. Triple orbital coming in. CC coming online. See a couple of additional Marines coming through too, as that orbital gonna move across into the in-base, and those SCVs ready to stack up and begin mining. So the thing is, for Reynor, he doesn't know that it's the 3CC just yet. So for him, he's still playing a little bit blind as to what this is, right? So that's definitely something to also think about. Nice scout from ByuN as he sees the robo timing. Pretty big probe pull to try and block the Reaper from seeing anything more, but he saw the Twilight, so wasn't really worth it outside of, yeah, you kill the Reaper, but the Reaper got all the information it was looking for, so can't really be all that upset. 2 gates, no extra gates on the way for the moment either, so looking pretty respectable for the moment here. As we get ourselves this next game really set up, waiting for a blink to kick in, and I guess Reynor will be able to get some pressure onto the map perhaps with that blink coming through. +1 attack is starting, Stimpack as well. Just the 1 engineering bay, it is TVP. This was a 3 racks beyond this as well, right? So like a lot of units right away, and Reynor going to play Nexus into Robo base, so Blink Stalker Colossus going to be just the setup from the very beginning. Not a bad one. Obviously works, good composition, kind of a traditional composition for TVP. You see the 3 Stalkers and an Adept are going to wander over the right here and see if they can apply anything. Bunker coming up from ByuN. Again, he's 3CC, so he wants to be a little bit careful. And he also has no like factory units because he played 3 racks. So he's A, playing very eco-heavy, and B, on top of playing very eco-heavy, he's playing very then kind of low-tech unit heavy, so he doesn't have like a tank defensively, so the bunker is quite important in that situation, in fact. So we are correct to see that come down. Don't think that should be too surprising, and you know, just in case, because again, he saw the Twilight, he saw the Robo, but he doesn't maybe know exactly how aggressive Reynor wants to be. In this case, probably would have been okay without the bunker, but yeah. Then there's going to be some games where you just auto-lose to a blink up and you have no units, right? Gonna get a couple pickoffs here as Stalkers now get chased away. So Stalkers are gonna get hunted down. ByuN still chasing. Stalkers still taking shots. Gonna grab another one up on that top side and just gonna be seeing Stalkers still setting up in the center. Charge coming through. Extended thermal lance coming through. +1 attack. The combat shield. All of that is getting going here. As our armory, our engineering bay, our tech lab. And everything just coming up right now as we see our few bio units wanting to try and grab a Stalker or 2 if possible. Not quite finding the chance just yet. Bio units continuing in. Our combat shields how to finish this first push from ByuN. Oh, we know it can be terrifying. We'll see if Reynor has what he needs to defend it. He's lost 3 Stalkers and an Adept this game. Killed 8 Marines. It's really these Colossi, and mostly just getting these Colossi in the right position so Battery can keep them alive. A lot of the time is the necessity here. It doesn't look as though ByuN immediately is going to be finding his way in at least, so as that goes around this side and just going to be moving up the top a little bit, so a few different ways of moving there. 2 Colossi just chilling with the Zealots and the Sentry. Maybe this is where ByuN can still make a dive. He's going to stim, he's going to go. Reynor's not watching, so he's going to get a Colossus straight away. There's no super battery near here, right? Okay, there's one that can come on the low ground, but yeah, 2 Colossus dead. ByuN just grabs them, gets out because, well, there's no blink, right? Well, there is blink, but there's no Stalkers. The Stalkers are in the main. So he just lifts, leaves. Yeah, 2 Colossi down, and Reynor's tech is already being threatened here. Already being slowed down pretty heavily. Medivacs will come back over the right-hand side. +2 attack, +1 armor. All continuing in. Gazelle's going to come up onto the natural here and just going to go after this wall off. A command center gets picked off. The CC going to get placed. There's going to be seen a couple of Widow Mines still coming through as our Zealots will get picked away at. And you can see ByuN trying to fight over here. He kind of believes that killing 2 Colossus means he can probably just keep on fighting. Widow Mine retargeted a couple of times, so no initial shot. Stalker will blink away from the first mine shot. We'll need detection still because there's an armory up, of course, so those mines are cloaked even after the shots. Obviously, killing the Colossus kind of means stuff like observers are going to be short and, hard to come by, because when is there going to be time to build observers? You have to rebuild that Colossus count. ByuN just loads up everything. Looks like he's ready for a big drop, but he might just, the threat of that is high, but the threat of that is something you can use as well, right? Because now you can use the threat of that maybe to then say, well, cool, I can actually just unload here and take everything into one big push. Oh, this DT walks into what was already a scan. There's another one that's walking by, but that's actually quite the catch for Raynor. For ByuN, taking down a DT for free. Big drop heading towards the main base. He is going to find the Stalkers have just moved away from this in-base expand. Well, Stalkers aren't going to be able to fight that once it's unloaded, and that is the problem. These Stalkers are in trouble. Raynor's supply blocked, and he's going to get further supply blocked as pylons fall. He's going to try and rebuild them as best he can. The Stalkers continue to be under fire here. Colossus maybe going to run up the ramp. Isn't exactly ideal, but what else are you meant to do? A few Marauders stim forward. Doesn't get the Colossus. It does back away. Again, it's just a good fight for ByuN because he's clearing out so many Stalkers. They're expensive. He actually loads up and drops the Colossus, but Colossus does make a getaway one more time. We can't push in on the left. Reynolds' defense there at least is good with a couple of Colossi, but it just feels like over time it's not going to be enough, right? So far, it's just not happening as our Bioforce now from ByuN back through the bottom. CC going to float out to the 4th base location as well, so ByuN going to get his 4th up and running here also. So also going to get that going as we get ourselves the Medivacs through to the top. Oh, Stalker's here going to get 2 Medivacs pretty quick. This is ByuN for you, right? Like, very committed. He's actually going to lose every Medivac, so no escape with these units either. Yeah, it's just very committed, right? And it can go so wrong so quickly, and that's kind of what we saw with him against Max Packs earlier too, and kind of run into problems here, just being way too aggressive. He just lost so much supply that this game evens out, basically, and that's kind of wild considering the position he was in. Reynor just going to sit here and hope that ByuN kind of continues attacking, continues being aggressive. Just going to be seeing our free probes transferred down to the in-base expand. I like that he's at least getting some mines off to try and deal some damage, but yeah, ByuN's army kind of got reset here, and at least he didn't lose tech units, right? There wasn't any ghosts in that main base, but yeah, ByuN just keeps on playing aggressively, just keeps on kind of firing. And sometimes it's just not the way to end the games, right? Like, I don't know, like before when he was going for the big drop, he at least kind of looked at it and said, oh yeah, well, big drop, but there's nothing in the base, right? This time he flies straight into the Stalkers. 2 Medivacs die almost immediately. And he loses the rest of the Medivacs before he can kill the Stalkers, so he has no escape plan. And Reynor's obviously playing pretty well defensively here. He's getting set up, and in a later game scenario, I can kind of believe in Reynor's ability to fight, engage, trade. Actually isn't going to get the disruptor shots that he needs right now, though he will get one! ByuN again just goes diving in, reckless, aggressive, bit too greedy really on what he's trying to find. The MPs here will melt those Archons. We try and drop into this base as well. Once more, the Stalkers are going to find Medivac kills. ByuN is making this kind of wild at the moment, as it's going to be seen as Zealots and Stalkers are getting chipped away at. But yeah, overall supplies, Reynor also has 92 probes, so his economy is pretty insane. 4 bases though, so he kind of needs an extra base to really make the most of that amount of workers. He's getting to that 5th base right now. ByuN's building a 5th CC of his own as well, so continuing to bring that online. Bio through the south will grab the Observer. That's nice at least, so working our way through that. There's some good news. Another round of medevacs is going to load up. And man, ByuN, are we really going to do this again? He's still there! Oh my god. I mean, this time he doesn't target fire straight away, so the medevacs get to unload, but the amount of times we've just seen this super risky play to me is crazy. Sniping off a few zealots and it is going to force a response from Reynor to get out over here, right? Don't get me wrong, it's just... I'm almost just in disbelief that it went so badly wrong before, and he's still trying to do it. This time he actually lifts off from the disruptors, and he'll re-unload into this base where there's still disruptors. Oh my goodness, this is just ridiculous. He actually saves that medevac. I don't even really know what I watched. I feel like ByuN just recommitted to the fight like 3 more times than I ever wanted him to, but kind of worked, did it? Resources lost in this game is favoring ByuN by a couple thousand. When you look at the fact that Reynor has 100 probes, probably suggests that that's kind of okay, I guess, on either side. The thing is, I just don't believe these 100 probes have any way to really mine from. Oversaturated here, oversaturated massively there. Like, Reynor has like 30 probes that just aren't mining at all. So a lot of these 100 probes just aren't effective. Back into this base. Super battery's back. I thought that would have actually still been on cooldown. That's a disruptor shot that does land. We will now get revenge on that disruptor. 2 more fire. Only Marines going down to that one at least, which is a little bit more family friendly. The drop in the back is going to be denied. Stalker's trying to come in as well once more, trying to get through. Medevacs will load 4 of them. He's just addicted, I feel like, to just keeping on doing this, right? Like, he's just absolutely addicted to dropping with all the medevacs through this top side of the map. It's like, hey, ByuN, what's your favorite thing to do on this map? It's like, drop the in-base. Yeah. Naruto from Take TV saying, I think you can use some more probes. Yeah, the 104 probes maybe is a bit too much. He's just not stopping producing probes. Maybe one of the things we could actually fault Reynor's Protoss for. It's almost like he feels like he's losing workers, but he's actually not, and he's just so oversaturated on workers. DTs. Obviously could be good. We got Shadow Stride on them as well. How many times are we going to Doom drop that in-base expansion, man? It's just ridiculous. This base just cannot get a chance to live. Actually redonkulous. I can't believe it, as we are going to go after the Nexus. The Nexus will fall down. Is that the first time the Nexus actually died? That's the first Nexus we lost all game, so yeah, it probably is. Reynor's losing disruptors over here. He's going to recall into this position with what? 2 Colossi and then warp in. Another disruptor goes down. One of the Colossus dies. The other one will die too. Battery's out of energy. The Zealot warping at least traded pretty well. That's the one thing that I suppose went okay. DTs will not survive this planetary turret nearby. SCV repair snipes on the DTs. And that is a full cleanup of the Dark Templar. They will die. And everything is seemingly continuing to go a little bit wrong for Reynor here. Supplies are still kind of funnily close. I mean, killing base is actually the important part. Killing probes doesn't matter. Killing probes is Reynor a favor right now. Because he just has so many, like way too many to actually use. I guess that's the problem though. Supplies are close, but army supplies are not. And again, it's not like the army supplies are getting better for Reynor, because his probes aren't actually helping him as they maybe should be. DT's into the bases. ByuN's going to have to deal with this as well. 17 minutes, guys. ByuN was, well, honestly, super far ahead. And he really did let this super far ahead lead slip away from him quite a bit. Rather heavily, in fact, as DT's still going by in the main. Couple of Widow Mines burrowing up. Scan as DT gets away to the corner. We're going to go after the reactor. We'll clean that up as well as we get up to the top side watchtower. We'll scan, take out a DT. Fire Force still setting up as DT gets picked off also as another disruptor shot flies but doesn't land. Planetary Fortress there to turn these Zealots around. At this point, it's 60 army supply lead for ByuN, and you've got to imagine this next fight is likely going to be the one to put ByuN into match point situation ahead of a game 6. A 3-2 lead looking very likely here. Fire Force drops in. Stalker's going to take a bit of a beating here. Probe's going to get chased down as well. A lot of probes starting to fall as the Nexus will take some damage. Probes pull back in. We probably need a scan to get rid of some of these DTs. 1, 2, 3 DTs already taking hits. Nexus goes down. ByuN attacking the left-hand side as well, and just do not think that Reynor will have what he needs. Disruptors are dying before they get their shots off. We're targeting the next one and the next one, and no disruptor shots land at all. And as ByuN sniping down Zealots, GG is called. Reynor taps out. And this, my friends, is going to be ByuN on match point here in our grand finals of this WardiTV Summer Championship. All right, in the top right-hand side, my friends, match point, one more map, and he is your WardiTV Summer Championship victor. It is ByuN. In the blue, as the Terran. In the red, as a Zerg. In the bottom left-hand side, it is Reynor. Here for map 6. Let's see if he can Zerg it to turn it around. The proxy racks from ByuN. No pool first from Reynor. It might be, actually, if Reynor does want to be aggressive, map 7 might be the place to be aggressive if he wins this one, because it's Waterfall, which is a super short rush distance potentially for those roaches, so definitely a possibility. It is a pool first from Reynor. It looked like it was going to be hatch first, but he drops a pool down. Maybe he does just go a little bit roach friendly here. CC first it is. It would be a good call because ByuN just keeps going command center first. Obviously pool first. Maybe he was expecting Proxy Racks too. I honestly feel like Proxy Racks would not have been a bad call for ByuN in kind of over like a whole series sense. 1 game lead. Big good map for Zerg. Maybe get the proxy out. I don't know. There's so many ways you can look at this, right? There's so many ways you can analyze it and guess and so on, but at the end of the day, some of it will always be guesswork. Yo, this is different, though. This time it's gas. Racks double gas. This time it can't possibly be a second Racks, right? So maybe if you can get a factory up and a Cyclone out, you can be okay against this incoming Roach Roaring. The problem is the Roach Roaring is going to be so much earlier because it's pool first, and it's against CC. It's not that the Roach Roaring's earlier, I guess. It's that the factory is later because of the command center first. And that factory being so late, I think, means it's going to be very difficult to get the units out to properly defend against this. And I think that's where Reynor is looking to strike and find the most value right now. First roach is starting up, only 17 workers. ByuN factory starting. Desperately needs to probably get a tech lab on that ASAP. I mean, he just has no information. He's not scouting or anything. He is completely blind to this right now. He has no idea. Roach is starting to move across. He just needs to go, like, blind tech lab Cyclone, and then basically hope the Cyclone can get it done. I guess he'll start producing some Marines. So he's going to swap the factory to the reactor. I think you lose here is ByuN. I just don't think there's anything he can use to defend. Hellions aren't going to do anything. I just don't think there's anything you can do here. Don't want to be boring, don't want to be, you know, overly dramatic. I just think this is not good, right? You see this right now with the Marine and the SCVs pull back. You start a Marauder and Concussive Shells straight away. SCVs are going to pull with a couple of the Hellions to try and fight at the front. We get rid of the Lings pretty decently. So you can raise the depot against the Roach Ravager, force them to fight through for a little bit. Get a couple shots off of the Hellions, just try to chip away. I mean, just the damage there just doesn't mean a lot. We start a Medevac, which we cancel, then build a Viking instead. Just anything that can try and help fight. One Marauder out, but now we're supply block because we lost the first depot. And obviously Reynor is already droning behind this. Supply block will be extended. CC on the low ground will take some shots, forced to lift up, so you lose SCV production. Maybe saying this game would end was a bit overly dramatic, but it's going to be a pretty huge lead for Reynor. I mean, ByuN is supply blocked massively. He's going to be falling behind on workers, and Reynor has no fear in the world. Factory has to leave from the reactor as well. I mean, 3 Ravagers and 2 Roaches, guys. They're going to go after this Stimpak upgrade. They are going to get the Stimpak upgrade. And the Italians, well, actually do have a SCV surround to help them out, but can that possibly be enough? Viking lifts back up. Concussive Shells Doesn't really matter when the SCVs have a surround. The corrosive bile is what I wanted to say was actually going to miss there. We lose 5 SCVs. It's everything else. You know, 5 SCVs really doesn't sound too bad. It's 5 SCVs. The natural command center is not in location. It was not mining or building this entire time. It was, you know, structures just, yeah. It's just structures that have not been building. 5 SCVs don't sound bad, but the GG obviously tells you the tale there. GG is going to be game. Map. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player will be pretty happy that he gets Waterfall for his final map here. Let's see if he can turn it into a W. It is done from the Shopify Rebellion. In the top right corner, the blue Zerg, Reynor. Game 7 brought to you by Jazzmatic on the Prime, Leroy J6 on the Prime, and 117 Mercury with 1,000 bits saying Game 7, yeah. Let's go. Let's do this, guys. It's a pool fizz again from Raynor. I mean, honestly, like, aggression is 100% a possibility. ByuN is already setting up, though, for a roach attack, because he's not walling off. So against roaches, he's better off here because he can't lose his forward depots. He can't be pushed back with the initial add-on. He doesn't have to defend at the ramp, and that means he doesn't lose what's at the ramp. So ByuN is already playing with roaches in mind. So if Raynor goes roaches again, yeah, no wall-off kind of is a bit rough, but I think ByuN's very happy to say I get to keep both my depots alive, because if it wasn't for the depots, etc. in the last game and the production being halted, he might have just been okay, right? Of course, the wall-off buys you time as well, though, so that's also a discussion to be had. Reactor first from ByuN. Okay, well, if he just goes Marines right off the start, that's probably one of the best builds you can open with here against roaches, because you're going to have Marine production immediately, and you can still have a fast factory as well. So I like where ByuN is taking this as Reynor drops down the Roach Roaring. Lomac, thank you for the Prime sub. Oh Wise Elder, thank you for the 2-month resub on the Prime, as the feelings will start onto the map. Get this started, get this going initially. Feelings heading down the bottom left. Roach Roaring is going to be finishing, and yeah, I mean, so far, Reynor's actually not going to reveal the Lings. I wonder if he thinks it's CC first because he sees no Reaper. And 2 Marines can fight 4 Lings either way, so that's not going to be the problem here for ByuN. Yeah, Reynor just wants to keep this hidden as long as possible. ByuN going to keep on building Marines, and again, the Marines definitely going to be pretty good for fighting against roaches. Way better than Hellions would be. Factory is down the bottom. He's not intending to put this factory on the reactor either, so ByuN is 100% playing, expecting roaches here from Reynor. Yeah, and it's just this kind of like 4-5 roach pressure early, and that's why this setup here with no wall at the front or anything, I think, is the absolute correct call. Tech lab on the factory. This couldn't be more of a hard counter if you kind of scripted it, really. I mean, this is just a complete hard counter right now here in this game. Number 7, Marines sitting atop the ramp. And we wait for the roaches to arrive and to see if Reynor can salvage anything out of this. SCV comes forward, just about to start that depot. Unfortunately, that's an instant cancel. But there's just so many Marines here. Reynor's going to lose all the Lings immediately. SCVs will pull. You just want to protect the Marines a bit. But see, this is where I don't feel like you need to do anything. You lose 1 SCV low ground, a little bit of lost mine time here perhaps, but you know, you're not going to lose depots. You just kind of want to hold the ramp, I suppose. But hey, there's nothing you can actually lose. This isn't really that bad at all. Cyclone's on its way. Medevac on the way too, so counterattack is possible. You got to be really careful here as Reynor not to lose all these units, because the counterattack from the Terran could be actually kind of scary, and then you can't drone up as much. Ravager's doing a pretty good job as now the Marines are going to push forward. Cyclone's about to pop. We will get a lock on with the Cyclone to an initial Roach. That's going to die. And there's the Medevac as well to make things even more complicated. One more bile coming through right there. That's rid of the Overlord. Reynor actually going to be supply blocked by that. 51 over 52. New one just starting. It's actually going to be pretty nasty. And those Marines are kind of going out. We'll avoid the Roaches and Ravagers, which are trying to escape away. Actually going to loop back around, and ByuN. Oh my goodness. ByuN is very aware of what's going on. I mean, come on. Scouts around with the Medevac and finds himself the Roach Ravager. Yeah, and now he knows where it is. He's going to start boosting potentially across the map. And like I say, Reynor's going to probably have to think about a few more units in production very soon. We got a Cyclone lock on there. We have the Cyclone to auto attack as well. Chase down these units. He eats a Corrosive Bile, though. A little micro error from ByuN. That does slip through. Reynor's going to go back up the top. Link Speed going to be finishing shortly. Banshee's on the way, and I love the Banshees as well because A, they keep you safe in case of a further kind of commitment to roaches. B, well, yeah, harassment potential in a game where... oh my god, I really thought that those Marines are about to die. B, also just harassment potential in a game where Reynor kind of wants to just be kind of focused on building drones. If you can force him to build a few more, that ain't very fun. Tank on the way from back at home from ByuN as well. As Reynor will lose a drone here. Maybe two. And Medevac just lifts and gets out. Yo, there's no spore crawlers. Banshee cloak, and this is very bad for Reynor. He has no detection at all. He's gonna lose a load of drones, guys. There's nothing. There's not a single spore crawler start. He starts up 2 right now. Oh dear. Yeah, and ByuN knows what he's got right now. As he comes on in. He's actually going to start on Queens. I feel like he might think it's just the natural, but yeah, it's elsewhere as well. As the other Banshee's going to hit the 3rd base and also find himself a few drone kills. 8 workers down, 9 workers down. This is golden from Reynor, from ByuN. He just needs to get himself this Banshee out of the way of that spore. That's obviously unnecessary. He eats bile shots, and ByuN messes up the micro/multitasking and does cost himself an unnecessary loss on one of the Banshees. But great damage from the Banshees. 10 drones killed. Just an unnecessary loss. Just could have been better, basically. Banshee's still firing. Couple drones going down. He's Zergling's taking some shots as well, and the Banshee going to come back down the right side. One on upgrade. Stimpack all coming through. Two extra barracks in the main base. I mean, honestly, at this point, Reynor's been rebuilding drones so much. ByuN is well on his way to a very strong army. Reynor has no pressure on the other side. His 3rd probably gets to go land in position pretty easily here. Reynor's at 60 workers, so it's not like he's on a terrible work account. It's just the units he's missing that he could have had if those drones didn't have to run around, lose mining time, rebuild into more drones. That is where this really kind of runs into trouble. Means to be hanging out over here as we do see our Marines and our tanks then getting joined up together. Still on this 3rd base. We're just going to move forward. We've got Stim, right? So we can start to clean out some creep spread. Reynor's 1-1 on the way. Honestly, I mean, still unhated for Reynor. It's not like this game's completely unwinnable. The map isn't going to help. Obviously, ByuN can play very aggressively on this map. He times out the lift there to avoid the biles. Creep is coming across quickly, but again, it's just a fairly short map in general, so definitely something to think about. Set up, a few Marines coming through, Ling's taking some damage, couple of Banes, and get hit right there. The rest of the Ling Bane coming across. Sense Tower going to be coming online. Tank just going to be coming around as well. So just getting that set up. Melee upgrade coming through. Burrow, plus 2 Carapace. All of that just continues online for the moment. Here in this final game of the series, guys. I mean, taking a few moments to calm down, waiting for some more proper action to build out. The one thing I'm a little bit interested in here is, does ByuN just play like a super passive game as well, right? Because that is possible, right? It's a small map with a short amount of bases. ByuN could just sit back, play mega defensively, and just kind of go from there. That is a possibility as well for sure, so... yeah, definitely some options across the board. Marines medevacs coming through, a couple of lock-on going down there as well. Medevacs load up, gonna get some more action up to the top. This lamb is morphing up into that hive. Drop on the top gets denied. We're actually going to get through with a few of these Marines. Going to try and grab some Queens at the same time. Big push down the bottom side. Reynor's actually going to come jumping on a little bit of an army right here and is going to find this base pretty much. I mean, CC lives, 7 SCVs go down. Reynor pouncing and ByuN not having the best moment or two right there. Viper's already on the way. I'm actually a bit terrified for ByuN because he's really trying to play a slow game, but I feel like Reynor's going to hit him at a point of time where he's just going to hit with Vipers. The tanks aren't going to hold, and I actually think Reynor might just be able to overwhelm a little bit right now here in this Game 7. More Crozabars going down. Sorry for a little bit of FPS lag again, guys. Sometimes our connection to Korea is not pretty. This is not felt by the players, otherwise they would pause. And I really felt like it's... I mean, what ByuN does is fine, but I feel like he's not going to get set up into the slow-going game that he wants to get set up in, right? It's going to be the problem. I mean, he's going to try and get bases all over. I really feel like this actual fight from Reynor is going to be huge because he's going to have so many blinding clouds. I don't know. I mean, the Sim City maybe is going to be good to stop. Kind of depends where Reynor comes from, where the Viper's at. All 3 of them over here. ByuN on the edge of creep. These Ling's going to run forward. Just going to see a few more Marines unloading. The Ling, Bane, Ravager, Viper. Down in the bottom corner as well. Gonna start a little bit of a push forward here. A couple of abducts come down. Tanks are going to get abducted straight in here. So tanks going down immediately. Big corrosive bars coming through, and a Widowmine gets knocked down. Far left, a bit of Ling Bane wants to try and hit. So actually just abducting tanks initially. Reynor trying to play the efficiency game pretty early here. Going to be the plan apparently. Ultra's Cavern building currently as well on the in-base, in the main. Just going to get that set up for the moment, and going to see the rest of this Ling Bane force coming back around. Ravages as well. Bottom side, our Bio Army going to get rid of a Zergling, and those couple of Banes that were left there earlier now going to get some pickoffs as well. Reynor has a bank. He's got Ultras coming through. He's going to try for a bust on this position. It's only an orbital, no planetary here. Planting clouds on a good few of the tanks initially. There's a couple that are still left unsieged. He will get Banelings forward enough to get rid of a bunch of SCVs. Baals coming down. There's a lot of Banes that are still going towards a clump of Bio. They're going to go around the long way. This last few Lings shouldn't do too well, although tank-friendly fire is not exactly ByuN's best friend right now. ByuN loses a lot. 25 SCVs. The bases obviously survive because they're orbitals, but obviously that's his 4th base, just not mine. And efficiency will be against Reynor, but it's not even that bad. Not even 3,000 difference is kind of ridiculous in a game like this, right? I mean, this is one of these games where if the Terran really wants to be realistic, we're talking like a 15k resource loss difference. And of course, that's eventually. But already at this point, I feel like this is just... just could be crazier, right? See what is going to be happening in a few moments as we get set up. A few of these Marines just moving around. 3-3 coming in. Ghosts on the way out. Just getting in for the moment. Tanks getting sieged up. Here we go, another fight in. I mean, this is where the planetary over here can be very useful. The Sim City definitely hurting the Banelings getting through, and actually just having to stop to fight the planetary is painful in general. And this was a better fight for Reynor for sure. These Banelings should get rid of a few ghosts at least, but yeah, ByuN is going to hold out. He is going to hold on. And this Game 7 will, for now, continue. Not done yet. ByuN will survive. Problem is, again, he's got to get out to that 5th base at some point, and that's something which I feel like so far he has not done at all, right? Guys, I'm sorry for the lag coming through again. It's just Korea. The server is a little bit unfriendly to us sometimes. Apologies. I like this cancel because it does keep this area a bit more open, and that's what you kind of want, that area be a bit more accessible. Some Lings is going to find tanks over here. The Mule attempting to block. ByuN's going to try everything he can. You can see that resources lost now. 7k difference. Thing is, Reynor's mining the entire map. And bases that are meant to be ByuN's. Like, the fact he's got this base mining already is super good for him. And one thing about splitting the map here as a Terran is this base is typically hard to hold. So Reynor already having that base himself, I actually just feel like Reynor, in this game specifically, is just going to have too much that the Terran's not going to be able to make up for. 4 more tanks go down for a group of Lings. Lings rebuild instantly. Reynor has lava still to spare. Going to come in on this side. A couple of tanks get abducted. We do snipe down the Vipers, which is cute, of course. As man, that's a lot of Banelings. With the tanks dead, is there enough splash to clean those Banelings out? A few split away to the mineral line. Another 20 workers going down. There's actually just SCVs long distance mining over here. Back into the Ultralisks. ByuN, no way. There's just no way, right? I mean, a few snipes still coming through, but 46 workers dead. Resources lost stays at about 7k, and that's how you know it's good for the Zerg, who is completely outmining the Terran when they take a fight that is even in efficiency. It's just ridiculous to think that this can turn around, I think. I think this is just a little bit ridiculous. Ling's gonna go running down the bottom side. Gonna come through over here. Ling's coming around. SCVs and a couple mules. Picked away at some snipes continuing through. Those Lings getting blown up. 55 SCVs, guys. 55 SCVs getting blasted so far. Gonna get back over here. Some more ghosts, getting some more Lings. Extra Banelings coming online. The Ultra's getting set. Your ghosts will move forward. Bang, bang, Ultra Force. Ready in a bit of a push, maybe down this left side, and we'll just be seeing our Lings setting up. I'm not gonna go just yet, gonna wait a few moments. ByuN only on 37 SCVs. You look at the income graph. There's a mountain of Zerg advantage that is up in the air right there. That's obviously pretty crazy. Like I said, I mean, this is just... yeah. I don't know, man. I kind of look at this and just I want to be excited for you guys. I want to hype it up, but we're basically waiting to see if the next fight from Reynor will end the game or if ByuN can draw it out a little longer. ByuN has more army supply than Reynor too. It's just, again, rebuilding off the back of this shouldn't really be possible as Reynor has a 2k bank. Is Reynor, what Reynor might be doing right now, I wonder if he's just going to chill and build Broodlords already. That's kind of earlier than you might expect Broodlords, but he might just say, no, I'm kind of done with this kind of running into you situation. Let's just get ready to rebuild into Broods and just not do that as like a last-ditch thing. Let's do it early, right? Because sometimes going into Broods too late does cost the Zerg. This is not a base you take, though. There's no way. There's no way you can hold that position. If units actually move forward here, Reynor kind of moves forward himself. You can see what he's going to do. He's going to try and shut that down immediately. Going to see a few of the Banes on a couple of different sides. Actually loses a chunk of supply, but British Spire starts. Yeah, he's just going to start building Corruptors. And it's just smart, right? I think it's just smart, all said and done. He's around the bottom, going to run on through, going to go after a couple of the siege tanks. Do have some snipes coming down. Ultras already, well, one Ultra already getting picked away. Thing's going to turn back. Another hatch from Reynor, just taking what should have been the original 4th base of ByuN. It's not even that bad if ByuN can mine this base for Reynor's point of view. It's just, there's actually a base that typically is kind of harder to hold. So it's Like I say, I feel like one that Reynor could maybe deny, but he probably will deny it once he gets to Broods. It's just right now he's going for Broods instead of just running in. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Group of Banelings getting shut down immediately. Slings, Ultras coming through here. Going to get a bit of a surround. Hatchery gets cancelled. Little EMP going off. We will see the Medivacs jumping into or lifting up a few units. Raider Spy is about to finish, guys. I think ByuN realizes. He's like, why aren't you killing me? Well, because he's making Broodlords, ByuN. And ByuN, like I say, definitely seems to be recognizing this right now. Ghosts, Bio pushing up the ramp. Spines being shot down. Spore Crawlers being taken down as well. Catcher in the top left will be pulling a few Banelings on Burrow. Go for the ghosts! Yeah, well, I mean, cute little player, right? Why not give it something? ByuN actually loses the top left side, which if ByuN eventually gets up there, maybe we do have a competition on our hands. I just think the fact that we've already made Broodlords is very smart. Like, I just really believe that he's gone Broodlord soon enough that this game may more or less be on its way to being wrapped up. So our turrets are coming down. We're going to start dropping these Broodlings in. We're going to start getting some damage done. There's a couple more Liberators we'll be sieging. Obviously, this is what Reynor's been waiting for. So for all the kind of, oh, I'm not doing anything, oh, I'm hanging back, it's all been building up to this Broodlord count, which is, like I say, going to be tough to deal with. No doubt about it. He's got a couple Infestors there as well. Fungal's ready. An army down here. If ByuN's not watching, these ghosts all die. Ouch. That kind of hurts. At this point, I think these Banes and these Ultras could lead a charge into this tank force and probably knock that down as well. Obviously, even catching the Thors would be nice because then they're not able to fight the Broodlords. Orbital just about lives in time. The Ghost going for a surround, but the... yeah, the Fungal, because the Overseers were over there, so he had his flank covered. We're going to try still make something happen with those Ghosts. Now we do see actually a bit more bio down here, so this bottom right force of Reynor doesn't quite get the job done just yet. 11 Ghosts currently still in play against the 12 Broodlords. We're on 4 Thors, going into 2 more as well. This bottom side hatch of Reynor now dies. Reynor still with a bank though, and ByuN with no bank at all. Rebuild potential is extremely limited as the Broods clean out this base that ByuN had. I mean, ByuN just has nowhere to go. Mined out, basically. This base is the only mining location. And he is being pretty much checkmated. He has to either take a base or take his army and go and try and win the game with this one army right now. Finally, EMP at least off that goes as the Broodlings run on forward there. Hatchery in the top left corner will also come down. Nothing like a good old 25-minute game to wrap up the series, is it? Nothing like that at all. Brood still setting up. And you have another little force down here. A few Banes actually do crash in. The Ultras go down. 72 new Zerglings on the way from Reynor. Supply blocked as he's been losing some Overseers. This hatch will fall. Again, ByuN just needs somewhere to mine from. Like, he actually just can't build anything else, and the army supply has dropped back down already, so it's kind of desperate. I guess this fight in the bottom side, he lost a little bit. This is him kind of moving forward and saying, I got to do something. The thing is, these Broodlords are very much so just... I mean, it's a small map, so they're not super immobile in the sense of they can get back. Because it's short. I mean, they're slow, right? That's the disadvantage. But it's not like they're having to run back across the other side of Data C or something. So they should be able to stay pretty... should be able to stay pretty okay right now. Chunk of mules going down on the 6 o'clock as a Liberator is nibbling through the Broodlords. And ByuN's going to just fully camp out on this new mining base he's found, which, to be fair, Reynor didn't really mine out. Look at the minerals he will get from this. Yeah, look at the income difference because he just drops all of his mules he's been saving up. Yeah, then it makes a big difference. And obviously you can mine out all these minerals quickly, but what are we going to build? Marines? Yeah, I mean, nice joke, right? Marines aren't going to win this. There's not even really splash damage here. I actually feel like Banelings can do very well. How many tanks? There's only one tank here. The other 2 tanks are here and here. Right now, ByuN needs kind of every single tank right here. It's going to be 65 Banelings about to roll at his face. Looking to clean this out. Broodlords will come through. Going to get a missile turret to start. Some snipes will... Oh, well, we're going to land, but actually we land a fungal on the Ghost to cancel a few. I mean, a couple went off. Yeah, we're losing some Broodlords to start. Another fungal goes down, but that's the last fungal, I believe. I think Reynor's going to split and collapse on this, guys. Broodlings are going to start soaking up some of the damage. Time for the Banes to go. Not a lot of Banes from the right side, which is what I was expecting to see a little bit more of, but... And the Ghosts are running, the Broodlords are firing. Reynor is coming in to basically claim victory in this grand final. Reynor looking to be a two-time WardiTV summer champion as the Banes crash through. A lot of Lings and Ultras on the reinforcements. ByuN has basically nothing. He can't mine from this base anymore. 60 supply, and he is pretty much down and out. As Reynor still actually has units around. It's just these few, I guess a few Liberators are being annoying right now. The only thing that is really kind of holding on, ByuN trying to lift up units, trying to relocate in lib zones. If just in case there might be a way, there is not. As Reynor is going to take home the $2,200 first place prize. Corruptors, Vipers, reinforcements that should be able to wipe the floor with this. The Corruptors especially will get rid of the Libs, which was the only real thing that was saving this. Once the Libs are gone, the Vikings are gone, the Medivacs are gone. There's no micro, there's not only that. And ByuN tries to get a little bit more mining going as the Overlord goes down. This game obviously just wasn't really close as you see our Overlord getting shot at is going to drop. Things come through, a couple of Marauders getting picked off as well. We're going to see our Ultralisk going for the orbital command right here. Well, yeah, basically Corruptors will clean this up and Corruptors will win this game. Raynor is going to be your champion, guys. 4-3 in this final. Started off, obviously, with a 1-0 lead. Played a bit of Protoss in the middle, but he gets it done with some Zerg at the very end. GG as well.